Alright, hey guys, what's going on? It's another Monday, and you know what that means. It's another Murderous Monday. And this time, and I talk about serial killers, and I upload every Monday, hence the name of the channel. And the next killer is remember last week I said that he killed a little kid about 3 or 4 years old back in the 90s, and he was only about a teenager himself, and he was a ginger-haired man, well, a ginger-haired teen with glasses, and something about a stone, or something about a rock and Kool-Aid were in the murder scene. And if you guys still don't know who I'm talking about Eric Smith. Who was he? What was his early life like, and why and how did he become so evil? I will answer that and more in this video as I take you down the perspective mind of a killer. A little bit of trigger warning here. If you do not want to hear about sexual abuse, I would say click off of this video, and I'll see you in another one. So I couldn't really find what his early life was, or his family or whatever, but Eric M. Smith, born January 22nd, 1980, is an American murderer who, at only the tender age of 13, sexually abused and murdered 4-year-old Derrick Joseph Robie. And he was only alive from October 2nd, 1988 to August 2nd, 1993. In Steuben County, New York, on August 2nd, 1993. Smith was convicted of second-degree murder and in 1994 was sentenced to the maximum term then available for juvenile murderers, which was 9 years to life in prison. And Smith was granted parole in October 2021 after 27 years in prison. He was officially released in February of 2022. Alright, now the murder. On August 2nd, 1993, and when Smith was just 13 years old, he was riding his bike to summer camp in a local day camp. 4-year-old Derrick Robie was walking alone to that same camp. Now, I know it was years ago, but still, he was only 4 years old. I mean, I know this is gonna sound rude, but what kind of mother will allow their 4-year-old child to literally walk to camp? I mean, granted, it's only a couple blocks away, but still, I mean, who will allow their kid to walk to camp like a 4-year-old by themselves? And it was a nearby woods where anything could happen. Stranger danger, alarms. I know it was back in the 90s. There wasn't too much about stranger danger, but still. Smith saw Robie and lured him into the lured him into a nearby wooded area, and there Smith strangled him. Oh, I forgot to say, sexual abuse and strangled too, and sodomized. Those were the trigger warnings too. Alright. There Smith strangled him, dropped a large rock on his head, and sodomized him with a small stick. Smith then took Kool-Aid from Robie's lunchbox and poured it into Robie's open wounds. The cause of death determined to be blunt force trauma to the head with contributing asphyxia. At around 11 a.m., Robbie's mother, Doreen, went to the park to pick up her son, only to find that Robie had never arrived. After 4 hours of investigation, Robie's body was found. The murder case made national headlines in the United States, largely because of the ages of the killer, only 13, and his victim, only 4 years old. On August 8th, 1993, Smith confessed to his mother, and I think his grandparents too, that he killed Robie. The Smith family informed law enforcement later that night. Smith was tried as an adult, which I don't know why. He was only 13, making him the youngest murder defendant tried as an adult in New York State history. He was subjected to extensive medical testing from specialists on both sides, and they examined brain function, hormone levels, and found nothing to explain his violent behavior. According to court documents, Smith was a loner who was often tormented by bullies for his protruding, low-set ears and thick glasses, red hair, and freckles. A defense psychiatrist testified to diagnosing Smith with intermittent explosive disorder, a mental condition that causes violent and unpredictable behavior. However, the prosecution's expert said the disorder was rarely seen at Smith's age. And now, conviction and incarceration. August 16th, 1994, Smith was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to the maximum term then available for juvenile murderers, a minimum of 9 years to life in prison. While in jail, Smith read out an apology letter to Robie's family on public television. That he said, "I know my actions have caused a terrible loss in the Robie family, and for that I am truly sorry. I've tried to think as much as possible about what Derrick will never experience. His 16th birthday, a Christmas, any time, owning his own house, graduating, going to college, getting married, his first child. If I could go back in time, I would switch places with Derrick and endure the pain I've caused him. If it meant that he would go on living, I'd switch places, but I can't." At the end of this statement, Smith states he cannot bear the thought of walls, razors, wires, and steel metal bars for the rest of his life. And he has also apologized to Derrick Robie in interviews. Smith was held in a juvenile facility for 3 years and was held in Smith was held in a juvenile facility for 3 years and also was then transferred to an open prison for young adults in 2001. And he was transferred to the Clinton Correctional Facility in Dannemora, New York, a maximum security prison. As of May 3rd, 2016, the New York State Department of Corrections website showed him incarcerated at Collins Correctional Facility, a medium security prison for male inmates in Erie County, New York. On April 26, 2019, he was listed as incarcerated at Gowanda Correctional Facility, a medium security prison which is co-located with Collins a correctional facility. On November 30th, 2019, On November 30th, 2019, he was listed as incarcerated at the Woodbourne Correctional Facility in Sullivan County. Smith was denied parole 10 times from 2002 to January 2020. After the 2012 hearing, the parole board cited a concern for public safety in its decision. In addition to the opposition of Robie's parents to his release. At the hearing, he told a parole board that he would not return to Savona if released, and would go to a shelter or a halfway house instead. In October 2021, Smith was granted parole after 27 years of incarceration. He was scheduled to be released on November 17, 2021, but this was delayed due to Smith not having an approved residence. He was ultimately released from prison on February 1st, 2022. Now, I just want to talk about the victim. So victim was 4-year-old Derrick Joseph Robie, and he was walking alone, mind you, to summer camp. And it was in nearby woods, and stranger danger. I know this is back in the 90s. There was not too much talk about stranger danger. But still, you had to know your surroundings. And this 13-year-old kid, who was still a kid, he was just barely a teenager. He literally murdered and sodomized and beat him up with a rock and put Kool-Aid on the wounds and stuff, and sexually abused him. Yeah. So my next video that I will be doing is, I just have to see, okay. Alright. I know this is the third one almost in a row of teenagers, but yeah, I'm gonna do another teenage killer. Alright, so this guy, back in 2012, he was a menace to society. School shooter. I think you guys know where I'm going with this already. Yeah. I'm pretty sure everyone has seen the interview of that when he took off his shirt, he had another shirt underneath that said the word killer on it. And he literally stuck up the middle finger at the families of the people that he murdered in the school shooting. And even one of them that survived was paralyzed in a wheelchair. He even testified against him, which, wow. It must have been hard from the handicapped person to sit there. Knowing that he was knowing that he was like his schoolmate, and then literally and he was just basically bored at the sentencing, and he wasn't even crying. He was showing no remorse. He was just middle finger, blah blah blah, whatever. So yeah, that's my next one. And this guy is a real loser. I mean, just like all these that I've mentioned, this guy is a real loser. He literally had a school shooting. Now he probably has something wrong with him. I mean, like mental wise, but still, you know, yeah. This guy deserves to rot in prison and in jail for the rest of his life. He deserves to be on death row. But I don't think he's on death row. Alright, if you guys know who I'm talking about, yeah, I don't know why, but my comment section is saying no comments can come through. I don't know why. But, anyway, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I'll catch you guys on next Monday on my next video. Peace.